Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cinema Flow podcast. I'm your host, Zach Abdulbaki, and today I have two returning champions to the show, Sean McGrath and Jon Westling. We are going to be doing part two of the March Madness found footage horror bracket to determine what is the best found footage horror movie of all time. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thank you very much for having us once again.
Yo, yeah. Get
Very
back into
glad.
some spooky DIY films.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. We
Yeah.
have
We
some amazing contenders, so let's jump right into it.
All right, so we have finished our first qualifying round. We're down to the Elite Eight, the quarterfinals. So we have our first matchup, which is the number one seed Blair Witch Project and the number eight seed Lake Mungo. This is really, really tough for me personally.
between Blair Witch and Lake Mungo, yeah, this is very, very difficult.
It's difficult. I think I know my answer, but I definitely think these two do a lot of similar things really well. I think just the like hopeless, like devastation affect, this one they both really get. Blair Witch
Yeah.
is more like in the moment, and Lake Mungo is more like existential. Yeah, I think these are two that like both kind of reside in my nightmares as far as like Blair Witch is
Yeah.
like, oh man, like if I were trapped here, this would be like worst case scenario. And Lake Mungo is sort of like, damn, like what is after death? Like that's terrifying. Characters in Blair Witch are so strong and like so
Yeah.
we get to spend so much time with them. I think there's more memorable moments in Blair Witch, and then also just its contributions to independent cinema. I feel like I feel like we could be talking about Lake Mungo that same way if it had just been more popular. Isn't really fair, but I do think Blair Witch has just a little bit more staying power. I think this could very easily be like a final round matchup that we just got right now due to the
Yeah, just
popularity.
between these two, yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
but I think I'm with you. I think I'm also going Blair Witch on this one.
Yeah, it's just slightly more fundamental, I feel like, than Lake Mungo, which isn't necessarily what I'm always looking for, but it's hard to beat Blair Witch's impact.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's pretty tough. I'd go Blair Witch though. I would go Blair Witch.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the same
Yeah.
boat. But definitely, if you're
Sweet.
listening and you've never seen Lake Mungo, that is, if you find out about one film from this list, I think that's probably the one to check out.
Go
Just
watch that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely a one of a kind movie. Would love to see another film from that guy, Joel Anderson. Never made anything else. There was a lot of saturation, and as a result, we got some hidden gems, which sucks because, you'd ideally like them to be really popular and people to know about them. But
Right.
it is rewarding to find something like that, and that's something that I do feel like we should give Chris Stuckman a lot of credit for because he does I think he did kind of put this movie back into the zeitgeist with his review. So it's pretty
Shout out
cool that
Chris.
he's weighing on this shit. Let's move on to our next matchup, which is 12th seed Be My Cat, a film for Anne, and 4th seed Wreck. Two very different kinds of movies here.
Definitely.
Wreck is not the most traditional zombie movie necessarily, but it definitely is paced like it's not a Hollywood movie, but it is paced like a Hollywood movie in that
Hmm.
you get character setup, act two like kind of fun and games, and act three climax. Be My Cat is structured with the three women that Adrian kind of like hires for his job and how each one of them kind of approaches it differently. This acting job. Yeah, what are your thoughts on how do you even begin to compare these two movies?
Yeah, I don't think there's really an objective basis. I think it's really quite a subjective sort of question because like you said, they are quite different projects. And so I think to try and compare them so directly would be pretty difficult. In terms of subjectivity though, I can't lie. This one is relatively easy for me.
Oh yeah.
But like yeah, what are you leaning? What are you feeling? Are
Um,
you kind of conflicted?
I'm conflicted. I mean, I initially, in terms of quality, leaned Rec, but then as I think about what I come back to more and what I think about more, it's definitely Be My Cat.
Yeah.
I think there's such like a human character study horror to Be My Cat in a way that I really don't see in many other films. I think this is just such a uniquely weird and like real, terrifying character that I struggle to compare any other character to this lead guy and Be My Cat, and I think it's just such a great driving force. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm leaning subjectively now that you kind of frame it that way, because that's ultimately what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree completely. That's what I was thinking as well. And again, Wreck is great. I think we spent a pretty decent amount of time glazing it when we were in round one. But yeah, Be My Cat is just such a it's a very special movie to me. And I love I love the character study aspect. I think it's honestly much scarier to me because I've never seen a zombie, and not that like it has to be real to be scary, but maybe emotionally it makes it easier to understand. I've met a lot of weird fucking guys in my life, and maybe not exactly like this dude, but something about the way Adrian plays this character is so compelling, and disturbing, and
And
it's like
so
you,
funny,
yeah,
so funny. Like this, I
yeah,
think that's something we might have undersold the first round about Be My Cat.
yes,
Like it wedges that perfect horror line of tone between like so insane that it's terrifying, but also like you can't help but laugh because it's just so
yeah.
unhinged and like everything he's saying is like, bro, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, it's pure horror, but there is a strange kind of joy to being sort of like in this voyeuristic position as the audience, and
and
I
they
think he takes
slingshot back and forth between that so well because you get those
yeah
moments of joy and then it gets so real and all of a sudden
yeah
you can't laugh and then
yeah
somehow we're back. Like it's yeah.
yeah he's a really really great director. He's got a new film that's doing the festival circuit, so I'm really
Oh
excited
yeah?
to see that
Is
when it's
it
out. Yeah,
is it the follow-up? Because I know he was talking about making a trilogy out of this.
it might. I honestly I don't know too much about the specifics of the film. It might be. It's called we all put the world to sleep or something like
Yeah,
that,
we
or we're
put the
all
world to sleep.
yeah, that's it, yeah.
Apocalyptic. Yeah, it is a follow-up.
No way. That sounds fun. Well, okay, then
Um,
I'm very excited. I'm
but
very excited.
it follows characters Adrian and Duru, who I don't remember who Duru was. I don't know if that's one
Like the
one
final
of the
girl.
girls. Yeah, as
Yeah.
they embark on a secret mission to end the world.
Dude, I mean, I'm strapped in.
I'm
I think that sounds
super super
awesome.
into that. Yeah, it has this quality of it that it's kind of like John puts me onto these cringe compilations sometimes where it's just like there's so many people out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it's like a
And
portal into someone else's. It's like you're just staring into someone else's life.
he lives in
So
this like
fascinating.
Romanian village where even the people who live in his apartment are like, what the fuck is like, who is this guy? And he's like, oh, we're just filming a movie. Like, it's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
many people in the film are just so enchanted by the novelty of a movie being filmed in Romania that they just like kind of like leave them alone, which is such a great element to like weave into the narrative of the film and to like play with that. Like that sort of excitement that someone in a country where movies aren't made very often would probably like afford even a weird looking dude. God bless Adrian. I think he does things in the movie to make himself look weirder,
Yeah.
and a little more unhinged and awkward. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go Be My Cat. I
I'm with
really
you.
really just love it.
But yeah, double upset for Be My Cat puts it through to the semifinals.
Pretty competitive this one.
Yeah. So our next matchup is number 14th seeded Horror in the High Desert against number 11th seeded The Outwaters. Um,
Whew.
pretty similar, but pretty different here.
Yes,
Both take
yes.
place in the titular high desert, but we're looking at horror mockumentary versus found footage. And in the third
Hmm.
act of The Outwaters, pretty experimental found footage. Yeah, this one I think if you had asked me a while ago would have been tough, but now I think I know. I think Horror in the High Desert certainly has its highs and its characters are strong, maybe even stronger than the Outwaters. But I think as
Yeah,
far as tangible horror elements, experimentalism, and just I don't know, just unique qualities. I come back to the Outwaters more often. Yeah, that's just my take, but go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I love these both of these movies pretty intensely, honestly. Especially the locations they both have access to are so barren and isolated feeling. It's so awesome. But the Outwaters, just for sheer ingenuity in that third act, and I know that for many people that's going to be what turns them off of the film.
Yeah.
But for me, man, it's the complete opposite. That is like what takes that movie from like this is pretty good to like, oh wow, this is like a completely unique kind of film.
I remember showing
I
this to you and you
yeah.
being pretty high, but getting up and like literally having to stop it for a second, being like, I'm scared.
Yeah. It elicits such a real fear from me because it's just so. It's literally like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like you're looking through the eyes of the world's most schizophrenic man. Like it's so scary and intense, and it just doesn't let up for like 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah, and it
it
feels even longer. I mean, it's a pretty long
yeah,
movie. It's like 2 hours, which is pretty long for like a found footage indie movie. But
definitely,
that last stretch really kind of feels like it goes on forever in the best way, where it's like
yeah,
just like torturous, and it keeps changing
yeah.
too. It doesn't like it's you're in some kind of like dimensional loop, but it doesn't feel like you're seeing the same thing over and over again. Like they keep finding new ways to fuck with your head, which I just think is really great. Robbie Banfitch, director of Outwaters, also has a new movie that he's been running. I think in festivals and then also just like small screenings, like we'll do sometimes, called Tinsman.
Right.
Yeah, definitely want to see that one too. Yeah, no, he's a really interesting filmmaker. I watched there's like a postscript short to this where it's like just more experimental bullshit. And then there's also a File Zero that's like a love story prequel of his
Interesting.
character and like his boyfriend before they like go out into the desert and do their stuff. So I would definitely like to check out that one. But yeah, no, I think there's just a lot of really interesting creative stuff going on here. Kind of shocked that this movie is making it to the semifinals of our bracket, but also not really. Like I think there's a reason this has stuck with us so heavily.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. It's funny while you were talking about that, I was thinking it's like, oh, they did the Alien Covenant of found footage movies, where it's like, they have these like before sections. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? You ever seen those where it's like James Franco and he's like, ah, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
burning up. So funny. Yeah. I'm as well. I did not necessarily expect it to come so far, but I am pretty happy it did, honestly, because I am very partial to the Outwaters. So
Yeah. And also
yeah,
want to check out the Horror in the High Desert sequels. I know people like them pretty solidly. I know a new one
yeah,
just came out this year. I think the fourth one. Um,
that's awesome, man.
but yeah, I know two particularly people are pretty high on. So
I respect filmmakers like that so much. I can't lie. Like indie filmmakers who get kind of a cult hit, and they're like, "Oh, well, this franchise will be my means to just explore different
yeah.
stuff." Because like I feel like my impulse is always kind of the exact opposite, where I'm like, "Oh, I'm kind of averse to sequels. Like I kind of want to just get to like exploring the next thing." You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like it's I like and I'm not saying this backhandedly at all. Like I actually really respect when someone is able to like commit to a like be like no this is like kind of my thing like this is
No,
what I
I
want to
do
make.
too. And sometimes it's out
Yeah.
of necessity. Like I remember
Hmm.
when Robbie Banfitch of the Outwaters was doing the Q&A with Anthony Cousins, who directed the Frogman movie. Uh,
Right.
I had asked him like, what are you doing next? Like, do you want to stay in found footage? Do you want to stay in horror? Like, and he had said that they're doing a sequel. And he was like, I have
Hmm.
other ideas that aren't sequels that I would love to get made, but those don't have money. And I think
Right.
sometimes when you do make a hit like this, or even a cult hit,
Right.
like
Right.
that gets some attention, you don't really want that momentum to fade. And if you are
Right.
offered a sequel and money for a sequel, like you kind of have to take it and
I mean shit,
just
yeah, to
go,
be paid to make a movie, you know what I mean?
yeah, and just go ape shit on that sequel. And like you said, explore, different
Yeah.
avenues with it and hopefully impress the right people to, work out your other ideas that you want to get made into movies. But okay, we're pushing through the Outwaters onto our
Sweet.
final Elite Eight matchup. which is a
Whew.
tough one, but I
This is a
think I
doozy.
know. Yeah, number 10 seeded Ghostwatch and number 2 seeded Creep. Again, how different could you get? I think this one is a clear Ghostwatch W personally. I think Creep is such a
Yeah.
strong character study, and I love the realness of Creep, but you also gotta talk about the realness of Ghostwatch. I mean, it fooled like, large portions of a major country. And
Yeah.
that ending of Ghostwatch is like maybe the most deserved payoff of any of the movies on this list, except for, maybe like Blair Witch has that incredible third act.
Yeah, I would probably give it to Ghostwatch as well, just for sheer creativity. Like, there's small elements about Ghostwatch that I think are really, really really particularly strong. Like the fact that like you said, people were getting freaked out in their houses, and that they actually predicted that and wove it into the narrative, and like in the meta of the film
Yeah, people
have
call
like
it.
calls coming into the station of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is happening at my house, this weird thing is happening like in a different country. And okay, Creep is great because it really is sort of the proof of everything we're kind of talking about here, which is like if you have a good idea with a and you have not even that good of a camera, and
Right.
you have done a dynamic enough actor,
Hmm.
you can just make a movie. You know what I mean? And that's so dope. And that's so I feel like we kind of operate in that same sort of
That's the
space a lot of
goal,
the
right?
time.
Is to,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Constantly be able to make stuff.
low budget, high concept, even not even that high concept, but just like high
Right.
quality.
That
Yeah,
really resonates with people too. Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Creep has persisted and why, we're getting TV series of it still. And like, there's entire like Creep fandoms out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ghost Watch though, just because I don't know. I just think it's so effective. It's tough to beat Ghost Watch, honestly.
Agreed. Yeah, it's number 10 seeded due to popularity, but it's definitely like up there from the start. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a hard one for me to personally
Yeah,
like, give something the edge over it. Because Creep is
yeah.
my
Especially how
favorite movie
old it is
is.
too, man. How
I
old
know.
like they came up with this fuck. It's genius. It's just genius.
Yeah, no, it's kind of lightning in a bottle, and I would say the same about Creep, to be honest with you. I think
Definitely.
Ghostwatch scratches such a horrific itch, and I think they take it so seriously, but like it's still fun, and yeah, no, I think it's pretty firing on all cylinders. It just feels unlike anything else on here structurally.
I completely
Yeah.
agree. I completely agree. Let's go Ghost Watch, which I think brings our quarterfinal round
Yes.
to
We
a
are
wrap.
in the final four now, semifinals. So we have two matchups before our final round. We've got number one seeded Blair Witch Project against number 12 seeded Be My Cat, a film for Anne, um,
Oh.
which is wild. Um,
That is that this is very tough for me.
yeah, I
Um,
I know my answer, but I do think this is like top shelf on footage on both sides of things.
yeah.
Um, I lean Blair Witch Project just because, and I'm not talking impact, but every time I watch it, I'm so sucked into the world, and it gets your mind racing into so many different avenues each time
Yeah.
about what truly is happening here, what this space that they occupy is doing to alter their reality in subtle ways, how, when things are happening off screen, what's happening off screen. Like for me, the one I always go to is when they wake up and Josh is gone,
Hmm.
and you start hearing him scream from like far away, and his voice is like
Yeah.
a little altered. He goes like, "Ah!" And it's like I remember hearing, I think it was, do you know Pretty Much It?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Of
the
course. Yeah.
YouTube commentary guys, they were watching this, and one of them was like, "I've always imagined this as like the witch dragging his body and like meat puppeting like his voice to come out of his like so." Oh man, it's like there's so many little moments like that that's like, oh man, what is really happening? Like, what is this? Because they have
Yeah.
a description of the witch that the older lady gives at the beginning, Mary Brown, where she's like, it's like a hair. She had hair everywhere, and they kind of laugh it off, but it's like, no, if you actually saw that, that's the scariest thing you've ever seen, right? Just like this giant hairy woman, like naked hairy woman like dragging a body and meat puppeting it, like that's terrifying and you never see it, but your mental image of it is scarier than anything you could ever see, which is something that
Yeah.
the Wingard's version of the Blair Witch Project could have taken into account. But
No,
but
yeah, I have to go Blair Witch as well.
I mean, the point I guess I was making about that is that it just takes me back to being a kid, of like you would get scared over stuff that you kind of conjure up to yourself. Like, and maybe it's just because I was like undiagnosed anxious as a kid, but I would like sit in bed and like imagine like monsters that I'd never seen before, but those were like scarier to me than anything I could see on
Hmm.
TV. And that's kind of why the Blair Witch Project, like, just occupies on a different fucking operates on a different level to me, is just because it's like it's completely abstract in a lot of ways. There's a lot of tangible tension, just based on them arguing and running, and it's dark and it's real life, like nature consequences, but that abstract quality to it puts it a shelf above. I mean, we just talked about all of the strengths of Be My Cat, and there are many, but yeah, to me, I do give the edge to Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, I edged the witch as well.
Be My Cat kind of sickly endearing us to Adrian's character throughout the
Yeah,
movie. I think Blair Witch does the opposite in a way that I find really interesting, in that like
totally.
you're never quite on board with these guys. Like you're in
Yeah.
their POV because you have to be and because their fear feels so real. But as we peel back more layers of them, we mostly just get like more frustrated with them. And like I don't know.
Yeah.
We peel back more layers in like a bad way, which I find really interesting. And little slits of humanity come through, like when Mike kicks the fucking map into the creek. We're all like, fuck,
Yeah.
I hate you forever. But then later, when Josh and Heather are falling apart, he's like, no, like we gotta keep it together. Like we gotta fucking like we can't lose our minds. Like it's a problem.
Yeah,
But
there's
yeah,
little
no.
nuances.
In those like absolute bottoms, like the lowest of lows that we see in all of those characters, little glints of humanity seep through in a way that I rarely ever see a movie do like that. So yeah, no, definitely agreeing
I
with you.
completely agree. Like, who wouldn't be a total fucking asshole? I feel like you're losing your mind in this circumstance, and I feel like it
Oh, they're out
captures
of
that.
food, they're out of cigarette.
Right,
It's
right.
like,
They don't know what the fuck they're going. They wander for hours and come upon the same, like, conclusively, like, we went in a
oh,
circle.
dude, yeah, that's the most devastating. And it's been like imitated so many times since then in found
Yeah,
footage. Like we just
yeah.
went in a fucking circle. But like there's really and you notice it too, because they pick such a perfect like log over a stream that's like, no, we've seen this
Mm-hmm.
before.
It's
Like,
like 100%. Like you remember, even though it's
yeah.
all the woods. Like even as an
Mhm.
audience member, you're like, no, I remember this
And
log.
Heather's
Yeah,
like, it's not the same
yeah.
stream. It's not the same stream. And she's like, it's the same stream.
Yeah, yeah, and I just love the way that their dynamic evolves of the film. Like by the end, the dude is laughing because he's just like he
Yeah.
can't even believe what's happening. Like that she's still filming,
Yep.
and of course that moment when she's like, "This is all I have at this
Oh
point."
yeah.
I just think it's just excellent. It's just there's so much going for it.
Yeah. But definitely check out Be My Cat if you
Oh
haven't.
my God,
That's
please
one that I can't say every single person on earth will love, but if you want to see something insane, different, and
kind
like
of one of a kind, honestly.
one of a kind, and are open to some weird shit, please check out Be My Cat, a film for Anne.
It
Yeah.
sounds like Borat gone wrong.
Yeah, that's a really, really good way of putting it, honestly.
That is very succinct. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah,
I'm
it's like it's
so,
yeah.
so curious if Anne Hathaway knows about this movie. It has to have
I'm curious too because
somehow.
it's a decently like for an indie. Let me look this up. Does Anne Hathaway
I think I've
know
looked into this
about?
before, and there's no conclusive evidence one way or the other. But someone that famous has to have like people looking after her safety, and at some point has to be like, hey, there's a guy in Romania who made this movie.
Yeah, next
Yes,
round.
our
Yeah.
final semifinal matchup. Number 11 seeded The Outwaters versus number 10 seeded Ghostwatch. Uh,
Oh,
yeah. this one for me is clear. I do think it's a testament to
It's just
the create.
painful. It's just painful.
It,
I love
it's
these
painful.
movies.
Yeah, it's a testament to the creativity of the Outwaters that it's like in the conversation with Ghostwatch. But to me, it is a
Yeah.
pretty clear Ghostwatch W. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Outwaters like fantastic debut feature film, and I think eventually like Robbie Banfitch could make a movie that's even better than Ghostwatch. But
Yeah.
I do think there is just something undeniable and unimitable about Ghostwatch in a way that you you could say there's elements of the Outwaters that are unimitable. I've never seen anything like the third act of the Outwaters, but the
Definitely
complete
not.
package of Ghostwatch is so fine-tuned. And I think a really perfect movie that knows what it is and
Yeah.
hits every beat will beat an experimental film that goes distances to me. So
Yeah.
that is why I give the edge to Ghostwatch in this matchup.
Yeah, this one is painful for me because I'm very pro avant-garde filmmaking, very pro risks and experimentation and doing something that hasn't been done before. But also, my God, if that doesn't also describe Ghostwatch in
Hell
a lot
yeah.
of ways, And I know this is kind of funny reasoning. I feel like in the final seed, Ghostwatch versus Blair Witch is going to be far less of a conclusive conversation
Those are
than
two 10 out of 10s for me. It's
right
a tough
if it
one.
versus if it was Blair Witch versus the Outwaters, and so
Yeah.
that kind of just tells me right there that I spiritually need to side with Ghostwatch, but I also agree with you logically that it's just a little bit more of a complete package maybe. And
Yeah,
again, I love the Outlaw. I love that movie.
me too.
Um, I've been in the DMs with bro slightly too, so I want to glaze as much as possible
Oh,
because
we've
he's
glazed crazy on the
yeah,
Outriders. Yeah.
yeah. I think we've paid our dues with that,
And
but
yeah, and I think the Blair Witch versus the Outwaters is an interesting conversation because the Outwaters is I've always thought of the many things that try to replicate some of the many things we just praised about the Blair Witch Project. The Outwaters comes closest of getting
yeah,
that same affect of like you are lost in the woods with people you don't really get along with. You are trying to make something creative, but kind of stuck in this hell of like unable to get a perfect product. Um,
right,
Interdimensional fucking bullshit is happening. You don't like, space and time are being manipulated out of your control. You're hopeless. Like, I do think the Outwaters hits some of those same beats really well and in new ways, which
yeah. The isolation too,
yes,
yeah,
exactly. So that's definitely something I would give to the Outwaters. But Ghostwatch legitimately feels like the end of the world for the last 15 minutes. Ghostwatch presents some similar dialogues about the existence of ghosts and like the impact of science and religion on people's beliefs and spirituality in a way
yeah,
feels so true to life and really, really well researched and really nonpartisan. Like, of course, they do sort of, they present the skeptic as like kind of like I'm a professor and like you're
yeah. Like I'm a nerd,
yeah, but
yeah.
but
Glasses
he's
pushing
also
up kind of
right.
guy.
He's also right so many
Yeah,
times. Like, it's
it's
not
true. It's true.
the woman who's playing the advocate for like the existence of ghosts is presented in a really empathetic way. Like she really, cares about the safety of this family, but
Right.
there's also like so little evidence on her side where it's like you want to believe her, but it's kind of hard to when, you live in the real world and personally I can't say
Yeah.
the existence of ghosts, but then it's
No.
just like that reveal that it's like no, but ghosts are real. It's
Yeah. Yeah. It's
like,
like that Stephen King shit, bro, where it's like, no, the
yes.
ghosts are scary and they're
Yep.
real.
Yeah. Or no.
Uh,
There's something
yeah.
special in Ghostwatch, and we will give it the rub and send it through to the final round. Matchup, we have number one seeded Blair Witch Project and number 10 seeded Ghostwatch. Both 90s films.
Wow.
Both early
Yeah,
found
look at that.
Ghostwatch predates Blair Witch Project, which I think is something that we should consider here because that's pretty crazy. When you talk
Wow, that
about
is insane.
when you talk about films that revolutionized found footage, most often people are going to point to Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity,
Yeah,
but Watch has them both beat as far as time goes, which is pretty crazy. You know, it's pre-internet, it's pre-Blair Witch, and I just think that's something to consider at the very least.
I definitely agree. I definitely
Yeah,
agree. It's tough, man. This is a really, really, really tough one. I think maybe we should do like, I don't know, not necessarily pros and cons, but
no,
like
I
let's
agree.
compare and contrast here because I like and the Blair Witch Project isn't trying to do this, so this isn't necessarily a negative against Blair Witch Project, but I love how much they play with the meta of everything in
Yes.
Ghostwatch, in a really non-obnoxious way. Like they I think use the fact that it's supposed to be this live broadcast to like really intensify the scares, and even little things like when they first have the first revelation of like, oh, this is fake, this is bullshit, let's get all the cameras and stuff out of here.
Yeah.
How long it takes them to start like trudging out of the house, like the fact that they're just still keeping the TV broadcast going and sort of filling the space, like how like real like journalists, like TV journalists would do. Like I think it's just so there's a lot of little things about Ghostwatch that works really well for me. But it's the same about Blair Witch, bro. Same about Blair Witch.
Yeah, Blair Witch has a different meta strength going on, which is that like the whole meta of them making the movie, I think,
Yeah.
is so interesting. Kind of like you said about how Heather Donahue was unsure of her own
Yeah.
safety, how the actors themselves weren't looped in on what exactly was happening. The absence of a script, I think, is crazy here for how like memorable, how many memorable lines there
Wait,
are in this.
what? I didn't know that.
I
There's
think
no script?
I think a lot of this is improv. I think that it was kind of like coherence. They
Whoa.
had beats they had to hit, and then I'm sure if they said lines that they were like, "That's good, we need that for the movie," that they would incorporate it into every take. But yeah, no, I don't think that there is a line by line
You're
script.
totally right.
Um,
You're totally right. Yeah. Zach,
yeah.
were you just looking at that as well?
Yeah, they had a 35-page screenplay with the dialogue to be improvised.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Holy shit. That is
And
incredible.
even so, it's really cohesive in the dialogue. I would say is a major strength of the movie. I think
One of the
if
most memorable parts.
Yeah, I was for a second during COVID so bored. I had a thread that was just tweeting a different line from the Blair Witch Project every day till I forget. And I went for a while. So many little lines that stay with me where it's like, would that be a full of shit statement? Would that be a full of shit statement?
Also,
Yeah,
it
this one
looks
has some
like it
really.
was shot in 8 days.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Oh
Yeah.
Lord. That is incredible. God, this one is really tough, man. I think that's a sign of we ended up in a good place here because this is like I do not have for most of these I had an immediate sort of like I think this is what I'm feeling. This one I'm like really back and forth on, honestly.
Yeah, my answer would depend on like how recently I've seen each one, which is unfortunate because it's like I I
Yes.
think I just leave both
Yeah.
such like a that's a perfect movie feeling. And man, I mean, I I think my answer here is Blair Witch Project just because I come back to that movie like so often. This is one of those movies that
Yeah.
I just need to show everyone this. I need to re-experience it. I experience it differently every time. I actually didn't like this movie when I first saw it as a kid.
Right.
Granted, I saw it on an iPhone. I was
Right.
very used to studio horror. I was kind of in that camp of like nothing happens. I also hadn't really been in the woods very much.
Right.
That
That's
has
a mm-hmm.
changed a lot because as I've gotten older, I try to go in the woods a lot. I don't as much as I
Yeah.
used to, just because I'm busy. But like there is sort of that man versus nature feeling that I also think the Owl Waters does really well about like
Totally.
there's literally just you. And like if something is to happen out of your control, you're just dead. Um, or,
Yeah.
you're trapped in this witch's weird, like, fucking, I don't know what you call it, time loop, space loop. Yeah, and man, I mean, both of these movies, like we said, have horrifically fantastic endings, but Blair Witch is
Yeah.
maybe the best horror ending.
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was so satirized, you know what I mean, speaks
Yeah.
for itself. It became instantly iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm also leaning Blair Witch because I honestly feel like objectively they're pretty different films, and I would probably both give them both tens. I think I have them both on Letterboxd as
No, I do as
tens.
well.
So if at that point, personally, I'm just dropping everything objective, and I'm like, let me think subjectively about this. And also, I feel like that's been kind of the dominant logic as we've gone through this. Like
Of
that sort of
course.
takes precedence. So here's what I'll say: Ghostwatch is awesome. I love it. It's terrifying. The commitment to its reality is really unique and cool. It kicks ass. The actors are so natural, which is also a compliment and strength I'll give to Blair Witch Project. But the way that these actors, especially some of the family members, nail this sort of like, oh, I've never been on TV before, and there's a
Yeah.
TV crew in in my house.
Yeah.
Like there's, I think they really sell that reality. I think the scares are terrifying. I think the ending is awesome. I think the up and down and the back and forth they give you in Ghostwatch is so good. But man, dude, Blair Witch. I mean, it's been so fundamental in our work
Oh
over
yeah.
the last few years as well, you know, especially with this weird period of Rodge we're in right now. And
Yeah.
even Wildman, to an extent, there are certain scenes, you know, where I'm trying to evoke that same sort of like, oh, he's really just out in the middle of fucking nowhere by himself. Like
Mhm.
how scary that would be. I think there's something eminently relatable about the Blair Witch Project. These characters feel so real. These, you know, kids from 30 years ago feel
Yeah.
so modern and grounded.
Hmm.
It just sells the concept so it's I mean I hate to use buzzwordy type of language, but it's kind of perfect to me. It really is. It's terrifying. You care deeply about the characters. When Josh goes missing, it's like you are scared for them, but you're also like, not Josh, man. No, not Josh.
Yeah.
Like,
He was the most tolerable of the three at that point.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is why it's kind of perfect that
Yeah.
he's the one that disappears.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a subjective call, but I would give it to the Blair Witch Project as well.
The last point that I'll give it, which might tip it over to me, and it's a little unfair, right?
Mm,
Because for me, it's the look of the movies.
yeah.
And Ghostwatch is great because it's not trying to look beautiful. Ghost
No. Yeah.
Ghostwatch is trying to look like a genuine like newsroom slash like man on the street BBC
Right.
special, which isn't the most visually appealing thing, but it does nail that so perfectly. But the camcorder slash 16 mil like half and half of Blair Witch is like it's such a perfect visual style because every time you get like tired of one, you flip to the other, and the 16
Yeah.
mil particularly is like so great. The black and
Yeah.
white, like there's something just like every time you see it, it's mind blowing. And the camcorder is great too. It's great for capturing like the realer moments, but particularly the 16 millimeter stuff, they want at the beginning to be for the documentary, not the
Right.
documentary of them making the documentary. Uh,
Right.
so a lot of it is the more cinematic shots, but I just think, yeah, Blair Witch just has a slightly more cinematic quality to it.
Hmm.
I think there's a little bit more themes to get into. The characters are just a little bit stronger. But again, they are such different things. And I think that's an ultimate takeaway we can take away from this whole tournament is that for 16 movies that are all in the same niche genre, they're pretty goddamn different. Like
Totally.
a lot of variety here between, again, even pretty similar movies like Savage Land and Lake Mungo are both um, mockumentaries, but they're completely different. Um, and yeah, no, I think there's so much variety in found footage, and it got saturated for a while, and everyone kind of had this notion of it that all of them were the same, but there's really an insane amount of variety that you can reach when you're presenting a movie as if it's real life. And yeah, that's why this subgenre will always be one of my favorites. That concludes our tournament. We got our winner. It's the number one seed, but it is,
Right.
I do think it's the best one. The Blair Witch
I
Project,
agree.
the most popular for a reason. Um, yeah, divisive film, but for us, we think it's perfect.
I completely agree. I think with that, that wraps us up, man. Blair Witch with the found footage
Yeah.
crown.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up, Sean, I want to let people know about your Substack. Can you tell us about the most recent article that you wrote and what else you have going on with that?
Oh yeah. I mean it's a new thing for me. I definitely am not like a film analysis writer by any means, but I have a lot of thoughts and I I watch a lot of movies and I just figure like, hey, when I have downtime, let's try and make some film analysis Substack articles. So I have two out there right now. My first one was kind of and they're both horror related. My first one was sort of analyzing each US presidency with relation to the horror films that were popular around the time. My most recent one actually covered both Ghost Watch and Blair Witch Project. It was top 10 shot on video horror movies, shot on video movies, movies shot on camcorders, and consumer grade product, which Ghost Watch was completely, and Blair Witch Project was half and half, like we talked about the 16 mil. But yeah, no, that's just been fun to kind of get some unique and maybe lesser known corners of horror out there into writing. Because I don't know about you, I hate seeing the same articles over and over again. So it's cool to talk about some more niche subjects within horror.
Absolutely, yes. You go on Collider or whatever, you see the same top 10 lists a million times. I like learning about new movies, so I loved especially the most recent article, and I'll put a link to your Substack in the description so people can go check it out.
Thank you.
And also, one last time, let's plug Rodge's Horror Lodge. Go watch it. Link in the
Yes,
description.
sir. rodgeshorrorlodge. Oh, also here, if you don't mind, I'd like to plug these two things real quick. Like I said at the beginning, Brain Bugs, my second feature film that Sean here shot, will be on Blu-ray in the coming months. I don't have a date quite yet, but I'm at Dad's Rad Plaid on Instagram, and I'll be posting a lot about it there. And also check out my first movie, Road Trip Runaway. It's like a documentary road trip movie about COVID, among other things. It's on Tubi for free, and you can get it on Prime Video for $1, and that's also on Blu-ray actually. So if you're a physical media person,
Yeah, thank you for having us, Zach. This has been
yeah,
a
for real,
fun conversation.
But I'm happy to learn about these movies, and we'll definitely have you guys on again.
bro. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. This was a blast, man.
Also, everyone keep an eye out for Wild Man. I have your Instas in the description so people can see when that comes out. And
Good
also,
stuff.
last but not least, go watch The Man Who Has Seen R.I.P.D. 47 times in theater.
Go
Yeah.
watch R.I.P.D. Also, plug R.I.P.D. I think it's in need of a plug. I heard it didn't do too well at the box office. And
Yeah, I heard the same. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks
Okay.
everybody.
All right, so that does it for today's episode of the Cinema Flow podcast. Be sure to rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week with more fun movie chats, but until then, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.